As you are aware, last week I communicated we would be handling RAPEX this week.
On Tuesday, 22nd October 2024, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, tasked the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development to present before Parliament accountability of 263.3 billion shillings invested in Roko Construction Company.
The proposal for the government to acquire 150,000 preference shares in Roko Construction Limited was tabled here in Parliament on 7th July 2022, and it was accompanied with a letter of no objection from the Attorney General's chambers. This proposal was referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and the committee reported back to the House on 20th July 2022, recommending approval. In spite of concerns raised by a number of us here in the House, Parliament insisted on approving this motion to procure the shares. The entire transaction was to cost the government of Uganda 207.13 billion shillings, with additional share premium of 56.2 billion in financial year 2024-2025. The total thereof being 263.33 billion shillings. The House deserves to be given accountability of this bailout money.
Honorable Minister, we have our money that is with the Roko. We need to know how the money is being used.
I do commit that we shall bring a report about the issues the ROP has raised.
In the sitting, Parliament passed a series of bills merging the Cotton Development Organization, the Dairy Development Authority and the National Agricultural Advisory Services into the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
The intention of the bill is to amend the Cotton Development Act Cap 30 to, among others, enable the mainstreaming and rationalization of the functions of CDO into the ministry responsible for cotton processing and marketing, which is the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
The committee recommends that MAIF be strengthened by integrating and absorbing the staffing, expertise and system built by CDO over time. The committee further recommends that MAIF expedite accreditation, certification of relevant departments that will oversee the cotton subsector.
I put a question that the Cotton Development Amendment Bill 2024 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. Let's have it.
The Dairy Industry Amendment Bill, first and foremost, the general principle of rationalization also affects the dairy industry. We believe the Ministry of Animal Husbandry and the relevant departments under there can ably integrate the functions of the DDA authority, and as a country we will be able to make efficiency gains from administration, and we will consolidate all the staff together.
The committee notes that rationalization of DDA may affect the regulatory gains already achieved and adversely affect the market. But government needs to ensure, I want to re-echo on this. Government needs to ensure mainstreaming DDA into MAIF. It shouldn't jeopardize the ongoing processes of recognition, accreditation that are critical for market access, meaning that MAIF should take this as a serious matter, since milk is a perishable good.
I put a question that the Dairy Industry Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
I beg to move, Right Honourable Speaker and members, that the bill entitled the National Agricultural Advisory Services Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the second time.
NADS was created to replace extension service, and along the way government realized through this parliament that actually the services for NADS were not being demanded, and we created the Directorate of Extension Services in the Ministry of Agriculture. We laid off NADS workers countrywide to all the districts, and they were absorbed in the extension services, those who merited to be served. NADS, whatever is being distributing, whatever they are being distributing, is what we vote here as a ministry, and we are the one who gives them guidance where to put. Now they are going into the Directorate of Extension in agribusiness. Whatever they have been doing will be done in the Directorate of Extension in Department of Agribusiness.
I put a question at the National Agricultural Advisory Service Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Also in the sitting, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development withdrew the Uganda National Kiswahili Bill 2023, paving way for the Ministry of Education and Sports to retable the proposed law.
In yesterday's cabinet sitting, 21st of October 2024, Cabinet reconsidered its earlier position on hosting the bill from the Minister of Gender to the Minister of Education. On this note, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to withdraw the bill, the National Kiswahili Council Bill 2023.
The Speaker, Anita Among, apologized on behalf of Ugandan women following an incident in which Mercy Timbitwire allegedly assaulted a traffic policeman.
One police officer, Tusimi Abdallah, courageously executed his duties amidst a very heavy downpour, while one Makawa, Charles, was allegedly assaulted while in line of duty. We acknowledge the sacrifice that our police officers, our police personnel are doing, and we urge the public to treat them with respect, especially when somebody is executing his duty and you just slap a person who is on duty. A woman who is a mother is slapping a son. I don't think that was good for us women. That is an embarrassment to all the women in Uganda. And on that note, I want to apologize on behalf of all the women, that not all the women do that. The women that we have in Uganda are mothers.
On Wednesday, 23rd October 2024, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, tasked government to conduct a thorough audit of the operations of a Tiak sugar factory in Amuru district.
The total investment, both direct and indirect investment, as we speak today, is 553.71 billion shillings. The factory is currently non-operational, not producing any sugar, and this raises concerns given government's intervention over the years. Management intimated that the reason for non-production is because sugarcane is not readily available. All this despite the huge investment by government. Government should conduct a thorough audit of this company to establish whether it is a going concern. While the company is desirous to receive more money from government, we think it is prudent for the already invested 553.71 billion to be accounted for first. There must be value for all this money before we think of investing more.
Madam Speaker, we take note of the Leader of Opposition's concerns, and I undertake to respond in writing.
In the sitting, the Minister of State for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, said the heightened crackdown on moneylenders who confiscate national IDs as collateral has led to recovery of several IDs.
When a national identity card is confiscated, it severely limits an individual's ability to participate in various livelihood activities. Without their ID, citizens cannot open bank accounts, receive government services, or even verify their identity in various circumstances when the situation warrants. The government has stepped up enforcement of the law by arresting and prosecuting persons involved in this illegal practice. For example, in Lira City, it was reported by the police in the North Choga region that operations were conducted on the 5th of August 2024 within Lira City, targeting money lending companies, and 149 national identity cards were recovered. The law enforcement agencies prosecute such cases where lenders are found to be engaging in such blatant abuse of confiscation of national identity cards.
Also in the sitting, Parliament passed the National Forestry and Tree Planting Amendment Bill 2024 as part of the ongoing government policy on rationalization of its agencies.
I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Forest and Tree Planting Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the second time.
Given that the ministry has a department under the Directorate of Environmental Affairs charged with managing and overseeing the forest sector development in Uganda, including both the central and local forest reserves, which mandate is similar to that of the NFA, the proliferation of the institutions with similar mandates has increased public expenditure and not necessarily led to improved service delivery. The committee has recommended that the National Forestry and Tree Planting Act be amended to mainstream the functions of the National Forest Authority into the ministry responsible for the environment to avoid the duplication of mandates and unnecessary expenditure.
I put a question that the National Forestry and Tree Planting Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The House also passed a bill that will see the Center for Arbitration and Dispute Resolution revert to the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
I beg to move that the bill entitled the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the second time.
Clause 3, 4, and 5 propose to abolish the Center for Arbitration and Dispute Resolution as a corporate entity and establish it in the Ministry of Justice as a department. The effect of that amendment is to dissolve the center as a legal entity and establish it in and transfer its functions to the Ministry of Justice. Uganda has not been receiving funding from government, and therefore putting it back to the ministry is a way of effecting mediation in justice processes.
I put a question that the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
On Thursday, 24th October 2024, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, raised concerns over government's 723.4 billion shillings investment in Day Biopharma Limited, a private pharmaceutical firm.
To date, Day Biopharma has received a cumulative total amount of 723.4 billion shillings in funding from government. The bailout money was intended for government to acquire equity and become a shareholder. However, the funding allocated to Day Biopharma became contentious during the parliamentary discussions, with the minority report raising multiple concerns, which included: 1, lack of evidence of a special board resolution granting government shares in this company. 2, there was no evaluation and valuation of this company by the chief government valuer to ascertain the company's worthiness and viability. 3, there was no memorandum and articles of association to establish the actual owners of the company. The government should provide accountability for the 723.4 billion already spent on this project. To promote transparency, the government should be able to table on the floor of Parliament the agreement signed with Day Biopharma to ascertain obligations of each party. Government should bring to Parliament a comprehensive policy on bailouts to guide future government interventions in private enterprises.
The Attorney General, together with the Minister of Finance, will give us a written response to LOP's findings.
In the sitting, Parliament rejected a proposal to introduce a single tribunal under the National Tribunal Bill 2024.
I beg to move, Madam Speaker, that the bill titled the National Tribunals Bill be read a second time.
The object of the National Tribunal Bill 2024 is to establish the National Tribunal and for related matters. The National Tribunal is intended to replace and carry on the functions of the Tax Appeals Tribunal established by the Tax Appeals Tribunal Act, Cap 341, the Electricity Disputes Tribunal established by the Electricity Act Cap 157 and all other tribunals established by law as it has been provided under Clause 16 and 42 of the bill. The rationale for establishing a single tribunal to carry out the functions of all other tribunals in Uganda is to ensure the resolution of disputes arising from the implementation of different acts by a single tribunal in order to reduce on the administrative costs incurred by government.
Paragraph 2 on page 9 states that Article 152 of the Constitution is in plural and envisages a appointment of more than one tribunal for settlement of a tax tribunal, and further finds the tribunal is not tax appeals tribunal. The minority report respectfully disagrees with this position and finds that the use of the plural tribunals in Article 152, Clause 3, was used deliberately and purposefully to address the different type of taxes such as those mentioned. It is therefore, Madam Speaker, it is therefore erroneous to imagine that a generalized tribunal, such as the proposed national tribunal, is the one envisaged in Article 152, Clause 3, which sole purpose is to settle tax dispute.
This amendment seeks to, by extension, amend the Constitution, which is ultra-vires. It has got no place in law. Number 2, Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act adumbrates very clearly what a certificate of financial implication ought to be. I have a copy of the certificate of financial implication, and as our colleague has clearly stated, it is talking about 2 tribunals. In your case, you're seeking to deal with many tribunals. That means the certificate of financial implication is defective.
There's a drafting problem. So we could have something drafted better. And we will still accommodate you here. I am just requesting that if we could have it taken back for redrafting.
We will pull back for now and come back better and stronger.
I adjourn the House and dine.